So Josh, what was it like stepping into the dark world of the collection?
Well, I guess I had been warmed up from The Collector, from doing the first movie. So, it was kind of going back into familiar ground, just a little bit bigger, a little bit badder, a little rougher, a little more physical, and a lot more bloody, so.
And how did this set compare to working on The Dark Knight Rises?
It's scope-wise completely different, but at the same time, once you get in front of the camera, it doesn't matter if it's a $50,000 movie or a $250 million movie. It's still the same. It's still about telling a story. It's still about acting. It's still about directing, filmmaking. So, once you're there and you're doing it, it's all the same.
And do you have a favorite set moment you can share with us?
From this movie, it was just the ending when I go into the collector's house and get to put a gun to the back of his head, I get to put the slip on him. It's a pretty gratifying moment for the story and for Arkin, and I guess for me as well, to get to turn the tables on him for a change.
And what scares you in real life?
Lack of control. I've got a couple of little kids, and you just see the innocence being taken away on a daily basis, little bit by little bit, by the world. And there's nothing you can do about that. And that absolutely terrifies me.
And how are you able to draw on that in this film?
Well, I really don't. It really is apples and oranges. For this movie, you just have to... I don't really know how to play terrified, to play scared. You're either scared or you're not. So that's one of those things I don't know that you can play, but you can play, being in a bad situation. You can play tension. You can play those types of things, which I think translates to that uncomfortableness that comes along with fear.
And why do you think the horror genre is making a comeback?
I think it's one of those things that is, it's better shared. It's those moments of, being able to say, did you just see that? Like those types of moments, like where you can't believe something just happened. I think this world, sort of manifests those types of moments, and those moments are better shared. And so anytime moments are better shared, that just brings more and more people in, and the more people you bring to theaters, obviously, the better it is.
And the creators of the collection also worked on the Saw movies, and they also made video game adaptations of those movies. How good of a video game do you think the collection would make?
I think it would be pretty interesting. I'm sure you could get into building a fun house and all the traps and all that stuff. It could be, I think, pretty disgusting.
Did you play any video games growing up?
No, I was not I had the original Nintendo, but, I grew up in the country, so it was like after breakfast, your mother kicked you out and said, don't come back until lunchtime type of thing. We were outdoor kids, so not too many video games.
And how crazy do you think it is how far games have come then since Nintendo?
It's sort of mind-boggling. I got on a kick, I guess it was about 2 years ago, with a buddy of mine playing baseball on an Xbox 360, and it's like watching SportsCenter. You know what I mean? It's pretty unbelievable how realistic they have become. You see the commercials on TV now, and it's like watching a trailer for a movie.
Do you have a favorite piece of technology you can't live without?
Nah, I guess my phone at the moment. I was never big into I had one of those like flip phone, just phones that all you could do was make a phone call on for the longest time. But now that I have kids, wife and kids, I kind of have to be able to be reached, I guess. So now I guess I'm kind of attached to my phone for that reason,
And when a movie like The Dark Knight Rises comes out on Blu-ray, do you ever check out the making of type features?
Yeah, it's for sure. Especially movies that I was a part of, because you're so in the head of, of your character and of the story, and you're hearing specific accounts from, from Nolan and everything. it's really interesting to hear him as he stepped back and maybe what he thought about something else that he hadn't communicated to me personally, that had nothing to do with me in a scene or something, but what he was thinking about was something else. I mean, it's interesting stuff. And for, the same goes for anything that I wasn't a part of. Just getting into the heads of those great filmmakers, it's pretty unbelievable.
And what do you do for fun when you're not making movies?
I run to the woods, man. I get out of Dodge. I run to the woods and, play in the river.